Hey everyone, so welcome back to my channel. So this is part 2 of my scary alone travel experience. I couldn't complete the story the other day because I was disturbed. There were a lot of other disturbances, and as a mom, there were other things I had to cater to when babies called. So yeah, I gotten busy, and that's why I couldn't complete the story. But then I'll be telling you the rest of the story today. So where I left off was the time when the second bus was about to leave, which is when somebody from the bus had an issue and they did not want to travel in that bus. And I'm very thankful to that person, very fortunate that something like that happened, wherein that person found it as an issue. And I know everyone on that bus had an issue with it, like they all wanted to travel more comfortable and things, but nobody was really raising their voice at that time until this one guy, that lady's husband, who thought, I cannot keep quiet about it. I paid for it and it's my right that I, only question that I can get back in a more comfortable, easy, safe way. So that's when all of that happened. The police was there and we were talking to the police, and that's when we decided that we will go to the police station. And the driver, the co-driver, and the maintenance boy, the other guy who was there, they all were like, they just actually didn't seem to bother at all. They didn't even feel they were not even showing any kind of remorse or regret or anything, or feeling sorry about the situation, nothing of that sort. They seemed just pretty casual, and they were laughing among themselves and making a joke out of, I don't know, the situation. I don't know what they were talking about. They didn't seem to be really bothered, and moreover, since the response from their heads were also pretty reckless and careless, I don't think they seemed to care enough. So we sat in the second bus. The lady told me to bring in my luggage. I went ahead and I bought in my luggage from the other bus, and I told you the guy followed and everything, and then he came back, and then I packed, put my luggage in the second bus, and then we said we're gonna straight, drive to the police station. And upon reaching the police station, I had texted my friend. I said my battery was also on 15%, so I was really I was a bit afraid at that point in time. I had gotten a little jittery about the situation, and I texted my friend who had boarded the bus. He was also onto another bus boarding, and he was on the way to another destination, so he couldn't stop and come because he was also in the middle of his journey and he couldn't do anything about it. And fortunately, praise God, when I texted him, he saw the messages. He got really worked up about everything that was happening, and he contacted his parents, and it was happening at around 1:30 in the night. His parents are early sleepers. They happened to see the message that late in the night. There is a God above who really protects you when you ask for protection and things like that. So I believe that everything was his work. My friend had texted his parents, and it happened. So we boarded the bus in North Goa, and fortunately his house is in the south of Goa, and we were traveling towards the south, towards coming to Bangalore, Karwar, I think so. I'm not very familiar. But his house happened to be not very far away from where the incident happened, and his dad was able to drive down to the police station, to ride down to the police station at that point in time in the night by around 1:30. And there was another friend of his who had also come to help, because I was alone, and obviously girls don't go to the police station alone and things like that. It isn't safe. So his friend had come over even, and just to check out the situation, and then we had to write an FIR. So since I was a little shaky at that time, the lady who helped, she was the one who wrote the FIR, and I was narrating the incident and everything that happened. And of course she was there, she was a part of it even. So we were all putting down stuff and everything. And the other passengers too were very sympathetic about the entire thing. I know they were also struggling with the fact that they had to go back in a bus that is very not in a very good condition, and very struggle to reach comfortably and things like that. But they all really were taken aback by the fact that I was left alone in that bus, and they really dreaded. I mean, they seemed to be in shock, as much as I was in shock, because I don't know really what would have happened if the second bus had driven away and I was still asleep in the first bus with these three guys lingering around. It really gives me the chills right now, and it also makes me feel really scared to think about what would have happened. I am so thankful to God that I am able to sit here today and narrate this to you. But anyway, coming back to the story, so we had filed the FIR. I had written down the contact numbers of everyone on that, because the police was like telling us that, you know, if at all this becomes a legal issue tomorrow, will you be able to drive back and forth from, you know, your home destinations to Goa if it becomes a case and things like that. And everyone were like okay with it, like whoever were there and whoever were agreeing to, you know, given their numbers and everything, they took a note of our numbers, and they had asked us, and then everyone were like, yeah, it's fine, we will drive if it becomes an issue. One of them said that they did have some kind of a political influence, like they knew somebody who can help out if it becomes an issue. So I felt really safe at that point in time, that there were so many people who are there to really help around and, you know, sympathize with the situation. At the same time, you know, since they were also going through it, they were also like, I felt like they were all, you know, I felt a sense of protection and safety at that time, that these people were so reliable and, you know, really encouraging about this entire situation. Otherwise, if I was alone, I don't know what I would have done. But I'm just glad that those people were that helpful and that very sweet that day. So I'm ever thankful to those people. I did keep in touch with them even after that, with a lady especially, and we were in touch for quite a few years after that. So when this entire situation in the police station was happening, the drivers were there. They were like, you know, the driver and the other staff members of the bus were there, and they were laughing, and it seemed really weird that even the police wasn't seeming to be really serious about it. They were like, you know, you shouldn't do that. I mean, he was telling the driver, the police guy, you know, you shouldn't do anything about it. And they were hesitant to write the FIR first. They were like, you should wait for the, you know, one of the main cops or one of the main police guys to come in for them to file the FIR. So we were waiting, and that took some time. That's when my friend's dad and his other friend also had come in, and they said, you know what, you don't go back in this bus again. Don't go back on the same travels all the way to Bangalore. You cancel these tickets, like you don't go back with them, you come home and you can leave again tomorrow. So I was like, I felt really at ease at that point in time, because there were people around with me, and, you know, my friend's dad and his friend who had come in, and they both made sure that, you know, I got back to my friend's parents' place safely. And I stayed the night at my friend's place, where all these others, you know, had boarded that. Sadly, they had to board in that second bus and reach their destinations whenever. So in the last minute, I had taken the help of my then boyfriend, current husband. I had taken his help to, you know, book a flight ticket for me back to Bangalore, because by then he had texted my friend had texted my boyfriend, then boyfriend, now husband, and the rest of my family members, you know, about the situation. And they were like, okay, like, let her come back home the next day, no issues about it. And so that's when I booked a last minute flight and managed to come back to Bangalore. But I had a flight which was the next day, I mean the same day. It was all at 1:30 or something. So my flight was somewhere around in the evening at around I think 3:34, somewhere that time-ish, or 5 or something. And so for the night I had to stay over at my friend's parents' place. We reached there, and I had, you know, calmed myself down, thought about the whole situation, kept reflecting about it. I was too shaky that night to sleep. I couldn't believe that, you know, something like that happened. Although it was so close to me, like such a danger was probably, you know, looming around. I wouldn't have even expected, like, if I wouldn't have woken up and looked around, I really wouldn't know what would have happened. I mean, it's really scary. You can see I'm actually shaking to think of what would have happened at that point in time. And to those guys thinking that, they didn't even like flinch when they were being questioned and things like that. Neither were the police guys too, bothered about it. They were also like taking it as casually and everything. And the situation somehow died down after that. It never really, led to a case or anything of that sort. We did file the FIR, and I told you I'll be uploading the copy of it as well. Of course, I'll be blanking out all their contact numbers and everything, details of the bus and the travels, because I don't know how it would come back. So I just wanted this to be like an awareness sort of a video that things like this can happen, especially if you're traveling alone. I'm so thankful to my friend and his family. And I'm ever grateful to those people who really were there with me on the bus and helped me that night. And even though they were like strangers, and even though they were like literally nobody to me, the way they helped around, I mean, humanity is still out there, and there are people who would help you if you're in need and things like that. And especially that there's a God up above who's really looking after you when you pray, and have that belief and that faith that you are being protected, and the family, the prayers of your parents and everything always over you. So I really felt fortunate that even though I could have taken it in a wrong way and kept on hounding myself with the thought that something bad was about to happen, I rather would look at it this way, that nothing happened and I'm here and safe today without even a single scratch or without even a single any harm done to me that night. Even though it could have happened, there were so many possibilities. They could have locked me in that bus, because everyone were in a rush to get out, and nobody would have really paid attention to me sleeping there except for these guys who knew that I was sleeping there. I never found my clutch that night at all. I don't know what happened of it. Not that it really mattered, but then to think, I'm an overthinker. So yeah, I'm just glad that I don't care about the clutch now, but I'm just glad that I have my life. And that night was really very unforgettable for me. And the next day, something again interesting happened. I mean, interesting, not in a very, again, it was like I don't know what you call of this or what you would say. So the next day, my friend's dad was dropping me to the airport, and it was the first time I was taking a flight, so I wasn't sure about how things really happened at the airport and things like that. So, and I was alone again, so he dropped me at the airport, and I went in and checked in, and all of that everything happened. And I had to go sit at the gate number whichever was assigned. And strangely, I was sitting there alone, and I was like busy looking at my phone and just thinking about the previous day's situation and everything, the night's situation and everything. That's when like my luggage was right next to me. I wasn't even looking at anybody because I was feeling very, very off. I wasn't feeling too happy about the situation, obviously, and I didn't know what it was gonna, feel like when I came back home, what my mom and all were gonna say about it. My siblings didn't know what happened, but except for my boyfriend, my mom, and my friend, they didn't know. The rest of them didn't know it much. I think the first time they would be getting to know it is through this video, I guess. I don't know. So the thing that I was sitting there and waiting, and my tickets were in my bag. I was having another bag with me by then. And my luggage, of course. I just had one carry-on luggage, so I was just having that, and there was a guy who was like walking up and down in front of me, and I didn't pay much attention to it. I wasn't really looking up at anyone, like I said. And then all of a sudden he came and he like sits beside me, and then he asks like, okay, where are you going and things like that. And I was just mentioning to him that I was going back, my destination is Bangalore, because it's right there. I mean, the details are like, okay, he knows I'm going to Bangalore and things because it's right there. And it was like almost closing time for people to come in and start boarding the flight. So he came and he sat and he was like asking me, okay, you're going to Bangalore, and then he said he was going to Delhi or Mumbai, I don't know where, and his flight was like later in the evening and stuff. So I was like, okay, I wasn't really interested to make a conversation with anyone at that time because I was really disturbed from whatever happened. And I there was no much stuff about the conversation, and then he just said, okay, nice meeting you, and he walks away. And I was like about to board the flight. They started calling people, and I was about to board the flight and everything, and I boarded it. I had a good journey back. I was like really thankful about everything, and I was so happy about it. When I landed, and when I was like, I had a friend to come pick me up from the airport and take me back home, and when I was, waiting for my luggage to come out from the stack of luggages and things like that, the belt, I get a friend's notification, like a friendship notification from Facebook. I don't even use Facebook anymore, but then I was. So when I clicked on it, I happened to see it was the same guy who met me at the airport. I mean, when I was waiting, I don't know how he saw my name. The bag that I was carrying did not even have my name on it. There was no possible way where he could have, known my name from me sitting there or from my luggage or anything. I really don't know how. He sent me a friend request on Facebook. Obviously, I did not accept it. I don't remember the guy's name anymore, and since I'm not on Facebook, it doesn't matter. But I was just like thinking, what is even happening? How do they even know? Like, how did he get to know about this? And then I don't remember what he had messaged. He just messaged his name, and then I don't know whether he said, hope you had a good flight back or something of that sort, something on those lines, but I didn't pay much attention to it and just went. But the fact that how he got to know my name was really, and still remains, a mystery, and it's fine, it's been years, so I don't think much of that. But I'm telling you girls, like, if you're traveling alone and things like that, you may have traveled a million times alone and it would have been fine, but always keep emergency contacts handy, your pepper sprays, and do pray for your protection. I'm sure your parents would be, and your loved ones would be praying for your protection and things, but never underestimate the power of a prayer, and underestimate the possibilities of something that could happen on a trip. You are fortunate and blessed, you're safe so far, and everything is good with you, so praise God for that. Just make sure that take every possible step from your end to stay safe, and never hesitate to reach out for help if you have to, and keep these emergency contacts handy so that if in case you need to reach out, and always keep your mobiles or whatever stuff you use for communication, keep it like 100% charged and supercharged, or carry your power banks and stuff, because it's really important and you never know when you need it. So this was my story, and I just want you guys to be aware and know that these things can happen, and it can happen to anyone. I would have never expected something would have happened like that to me, and at such a close call at that. I'm just grateful. I'm thankful that you guys have watched this video. Do let me know, comment and tell me what you think about it, and if there has been any similar experiences with you and what you did, and I would be glad to read your comments. Do subscribe to my channel, and I will be super grateful. Thank you for being a part of this video, and I will see you soon in my next video. Until then, take care guys and stay safe. Bye bye.